This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Person of interest arrested following Greenville murder. A male person of interest has been taken into police custody following Thursday morning's murder of 40-year-old David Jr. Reed in Greenville, Manchester. Head of the Manchester Police Superintendent Shane McCullough said the man was arrested during an operation in the community on Thursday afternoon. Reed, who operated a bar at the entrance of Bethel Street in Greenville, was shot dead by a gunman as he opened his establishment about 6:30 a.m. St. Catherine North Police list wanted men. The St. Catherine North Police are making an urgent appeal to the following persons to turn themselves into the Spanish Town Police immediately. According to the police, these men are wanted for various crimes in the division. They are 26-year-old Keno Bromfield, otherwise called Dutch, Daddy Earth or Shooter, of Taws Meadows, Spanish Town in St. Catherine. He is wanted for murder. Jermaine Spooner, otherwise called Dogs, of Carlet's Road, Spanish Town in St. Catherine. He is wanted for murder. Kevin Fletcher, otherwise called Tippy. He is wanted for shooting with intent. Dean Norman, otherwise called Max of Berwick District, Riversdale in St. Catherine. He is wanted for murder. Junior Brown of Springvale District, Bagwalk in St. Catherine. He is wanted for murder. These men are asked to turn themselves into the Spanish Town Police by 5 p.m. on Friday, September 2, the police said in a press release yesterday. In addition, anyone with information that can assist the police to locate these men is asked to contact the Spanish Town Criminal Investigations Branch at 876-984-2305 or Crime Stop at 311. Molly, vaping, and edibles, top drugs being used by Jamaican teens, study finds. A new report by the National Council on Drug Abuse says Molly, vaping, and edibles are the top 3 substances being abused among Jamaican adolescents and are easily accessible to students. The report, titled A Rapid Situation Assessment on Substance Use and Urgent Issues in Secondary Schools, was generated from a survey conducted in May. Some 160 students from grades 8 to 10 in 13 parishes participated in the survey. 20 guidance counselors also contributed. Research analyst at the National Council on Drug Abuse, UK Atkinson, said Jamaican teenagers may be turning to drugs as a means of coping with stress arising from the COVID-19 pandemic.
When we asked about the popular substances that are currently being used, Molly, vaping, and edibles are what came out as the top 3. Now, prior to this, what the council has found in our studies is that alcohol, tobacco, and cannabis were the most popular substances. Our context is changing. With Molly, just give you some quick facts, just to say that it is one of the party drugs that have become more popular in recent times. We did not typically have a pill popping culture, nor do we typically have an injection drug use culture, but things are changing, and therefore it is incumbent on us to stay on top of these things and try to prevent them and create interventions that are necessary at this time.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has said normalizing the use of drugs is a public health threat.
This is symptomatic of a public health threat warranting urgent response. I said, what is more, despite the proven dangers, the challenge of rising drug use tells us that other issues are intersecting and ballooning. Psychosocial challenges, which we have spoken about, we have addressed issues around mental health, for example, grief, trauma, and more other issues. The health risks are real, and those most vulnerable include, as I said before, young people, many of whom are impressionable and are following a trend, hoping to achieve relief in some way, shape, or form, many times not understanding the effects or the side effects. So the first announcement, if you will, is that we're going to be going in a much more comprehensive way on these issues at a cost of 16 million, which is a national drug prevalence survey.
Liaison says Canada Farm claims unfounded, calls critics publicity seekers. Jamaica's Chief Liaison Service Officer in Canada, Kenneth Phillips, has rebuffed the claims of mistreatment by farm workers in the North American country, calling their reports misguided and unfounded. That staunch defense corroborates Labor and Social Security Minister Carl Samuda's repudiation of similar allegations of slave-like working conditions that have stoked a firestorm. The government commissioned a fact-finding team on Thursday to investigate the working conditions of Jamaican farm workers in Canada. In a news interview on Thursday, Phillips argued that no system is perfect, but said that the allegations are unsubstantiated. Furthermore, he said that there have been no official complaints to his office except for workers reporting verbal abuse by employers, which has been addressed. Approximately 10,000 Jamaicans are part of the seasonal program, which began in 1966 and are spread across 655 farms in 10 provinces. About 80% are returning workers. There might be instances that we would consider not acceptable, but to say in general that you're going to indict a program for a few isolated cases, it's not right, said Phillips, who have been involved in the program for more than 30 years. However, his position has been challenged by Rudolph Johnson, a 60-year-old farm worker who was seriously injured on the job in 2016 and sent back to the island. Johnson was on his 5th stint with the seasonal agricultural program after beginning in 2011 when he fell from an overturned tractor, breaking his knee and injuring his back. The father of one told the news in an interview on Thursday that only last year he began receiving loss of earnings from the Ontario-based Workplace and Safety Insurance Board. Johnson also said that it was not until 2021 that he underwent surgery after a local bone specialist to whom he was referred by his employers allegedly communicated incorrectly to them that he had not suffered any injuries and was okay based on X-ray results. The news will not identify the doctor. I got through a rough passage. Pain and suffering, sleepless nights, no money to go to the doctor, Johnson recalled. If me even find money to go to the doctor, no money for medication, no money to buy food, are just them things that me go through. Phillips insisted that critics who have labeled the program modern-day slavery are publicity-seeking lobbyists. The program is voluntary and we have workers coming in on the program for 42 years, so are they so inclined to want to accept all of that for 30-odd years, 20-odd years, he questioned. Phillips said that liaison officers are hands-on and actively campaigning for workers. Officers visit farms unannounced, Phillips said, to get a first-hand perspective on how workers are treated. He said where there are complaints, investigations are immediately conducted. Additionally, he said accommodations are only approved after officers are satisfied that they are suited for workers and that all receive health and life insurance. Medical expenses are covered where necessary, he said. But Johnson, who lives in Old Harbor, said after struggling to cope, he contacted his family doctor in the St. Catherine community, who ordered an MRI. He said that it took him 2 years to undergo the MRI because neither he nor his family could come up with the money. The MRI reportedly revealed that he had suffered a damaged ligament in his right knee, for which he needed physiotherapy and surgery. Johnson said he contacted local legal aid, who connected him with a legal aid firm in Canada, which wrote to his former employers notifying them of his condition. He was then sent to the Tony Thwaites wing of the University Hospital of the West Indies for treatment. An X-ray done on his knee confirmed the damaged ligament. Corrective surgery was recommended. He underwent surgery in December last year. The procedure was covered by the WSIB. The liaison officer them don't help. When me meet in the accident, the first thing my officer said to me is, "You can't sue this lady. This lady don't do you anything." Before she tell me about my accident and what going to take place, that's what she telling me, said Johnson. He claimed that workers who complain about conditions are not selected to return to the program, so many often remain silent. Johnson said that he is part of a group of more than 15 Jamaicans who have been injured while working on the program. The men were connected by the legal aid firm. The Canadian government has said that it values the program, which is an integral part of the country's food supply chain and how agriculture is managed. In a news interview on Thursday, Canada's High Commissioner Emina Tudakovic noted that migrant worker rights are just as important as all others. So we take it seriously if there are allegations or if there are concerns raised about employment practices, she said, adding that Canada has a fairly tight labor framework. She said that Economic Skills Development Canada is a federal agency that governs the labor market and its programs by ensuring that employers honor contracts and, where not respected, they lose the right to have workers and operate in certain industries. Tudakovic said that a tip line also exists for workers to anonymously report challenges. She said workers can also call and have their work permits removed from an employer and obtain an open work permit that gives access to other industries. My understanding is that there have been no official complaints. Certainly not that I know of. But with that said, if you do complain, there is a principle of anonymity in order to protect the workers. We're following this closely, and I know the ministry is following it closely as well, she said. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.